Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we are taking a look at the Chapayev. And yes, we are also going to be saying goodbye to the Chapayev. Now, I will have to say, she's very similar to the Bajani and the Stores, but I think she's probably one of the best tier 8 ships there is. I really do enjoy the Russian cruiser line so far. But anyway, we are playing on shards. On our team, we have a North Carolina, Colorado, Gneisenau, Nagato, Fuso, Chapayev, Indianapolis, Nachi, Nuremberg, Alba, Benson, and a Mutsuki. On the enemy team, there is a Amagi, Colorado, Gneisenau, Nagato, New Mexico, Kutuzov, Pensacola, Fiji, Miyoko, Benson, and 2 Mutsukis. Now, like any Russian cruiser, anyone that has played Russian cruisers know that they are extremely fragile, and normally you don't want to be playing very forward. But I tend to be a very aggressive player. I will admit that I'm very aggressive whenever I'm playing World of Warships. So I tend to be in the front. So right now we are moving towards A, and we are detected. Now the detection on the Chapayev, and I'm probably mispronouncing that horribly, terribly sorry, is around 10.2 kilometers. Now I went for stealth build on my cruiser. Now this is how I normally do it. I just like having that additional stealth. And there is a enemy Mutsuki, and he made the terrible idea of popping out of smoke. Now we know where he is, and the Russian cruisers, at least the Chapayev, has radar or sonar. Better yet, sonar. And I guess he just became afraid, so he's going to start running. We do have a Miyoko who opened up with some AP, but fortunately he did not get a Citadel on us. So this means I'm going to try to turn away as quickly as possible. Now the guns are fantastically fast reload, and they do pretty good damage. And it looks like we just got a Citadel on, or from the Miyoko. Now, the friendly Nuremberg, keep an eye out on him, because you're going to be seeing him quite a bit in this match. Now, we're not in a particularly great place right now. There was a Amagi, Nagato, and I believe there was a cruiser over there as well. And I really do not want to be Citadel by them, because the Amagi and Nagato have pretty big guns. So I'm going to try to keep a little bit stealthy as much as I can. Now, there is a second cloud just right behind this island. I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen like you would see me pointing at my screen. So, we still have sonar. That is going to be useful for us. And on the minimap, the destroyer popped up just for a second before he disappeared. And we know that he's probably in around the cap. And there we popped our sonar. And he's going to start freaking out. This is usually what happens when you pop sonar and a destroyer is in smoke screen. They're going to freak out. This is something they will do almost every single time. Now, the Russian cruisers have long-range sonar. It's around 11.1 kilometers, something like that. And it's fantastic for that long range. And normally how I can always tell if something's in range is I look at my detection to see if a possible destroyer is within that area. And there we go. We actually got a torpedo hit on the destroyer. Saw him just for a second, and there he is, very low on health, and he's gonna try to be a little bit ballsy. Now, one second little thing on the sonar is it's not as long lasting as the US line. US line will last about 25 seconds roughly, and the Russian cruiser line, it'll last around, I believe, 10 or 15 seconds, something like that. And this Benson is trying to go after us, and he did launch torps. I think we might be able to dodge this. Just waiting for my back guns to reload. And for some odd reason, we don't kill him, but do set a fire. Don't really know why, but this should be able to take out the enemy Benson, and we were able to dodge the torpedoes. Very nice. Now, all this was happening. The friendly Nuremberg has moved all the way south. You can see him. He's actually currently being chased by a battleship. He took out the enemy Miyoko, and I believe he took we did lose our destroyer when he was doing that, but now we have a Gneisenau, and oh, I am broadside. Oh, this is one place you do not want to be. You do not want to be broadside to a enemy battleship if all possible. Even cruisers, you don't want to be broadside because they can punish you quite heavily. And I am going to be taking very big steps in the other directions. Now, the reason why I wanted to point out the friendly Nuremberg is he's taken out 2 cruisers. I believe he's on his 3rd kill. No, he's on his 2nd kill of the game. And he's currently fighting, I believe, in New Mexico, went down south. And just kind of keep an eye on him, because he does a really good job, even though I'm trying to show off the Chapayev as much as possible. Now, my Russian cruiser has fantastic fire chance. I believe it's around 20%, something like that. And we're going to just dodge and weave, because the Gneisenau has horrible RNG. With its main guns, especially if you don't go for the increased accuracy for your guns. If you go instead for secondaries, you won't get that benefit. So we're just going to keep our distance, keep as narrow as possible, and just swing back and forth. Now, the friendly Nuremberg actually took out the enemy New Mexico, which is impressive. And unfortunately, the Gneisenau did land a hit, but the Nuremberg is actually coming in to help, which is fantastic. And I think we should be able to be fine dealing with this Gneisenau. And wow, that was overshot, which is fortunate for us. Hopefully we can be able to do a little bit more damage. Now, I'm trying my best to keep as narrow and try to dodge as much shots as we can. And it looks like the Gneisenau is actually turning its guns on the friendly Nuremberg. Now, I don't know if he got detected for a second. I'm guessing he did. So, fortunately, we were able to start turning, but he tricked me. He actually is turning his guns towards us. So, I do slow up just a bit, just so his shots will overshoot us. And it worked out fairly okay for me. I'm kind of glad for that. And we're able to land another fire on this Gneisenau, and it's just taking away his health. Now, the fire is fully repairable. Any fire damage that you receive, as long as you have a heal party, you can repair that. But obviously, there's always a cooldown. You can't always repair that fire. So just kind of keep hammering away. We're going to see if we can get another fire on the Gneisenau. If we can get another fire, that would take even more health off him. And it looks like the friendly Nuremberg is actually firing away with his high explosive as well. And can we finish him off? It looks like he just got another fire from the Nuremberg after ours went out. And I think he should be going down fairly quickly. Yep. The friendly Nuremberg burns the Gneisenau down. What? I really impressed. Probably just due to the fact that he was either lucky or was able to actually do significant amount of damage. Now, granted, that's the 2nd kill he's essentially claimed from us. I don't want to say that he didn't do that much damage, but the Mutsuki and the Gneisenau were 2 ships that we did significant amount of damage towards. Well, everything is said and done, and now we have a enemy Nagato pushing towards A. And keep in mind, we have not captured A. The enemy team has captured B and C, and they've held it for some time. But we've taken out 3 of their battleships, 2 of their cruisers, and 2 of their destroyers. And that gives us points advantage while decreasing their points. So that's how we're still able to lead almost... well, it was about 200 points. Now it's about 100. And here, this is extremely dangerous. Nagato actually catches me broadside, but does not get a citadel. Very, very nice. And it looks like he's firing his back guns. We're going to try to turn away once more. Going to try to keep as narrow as possible in the Chapayev. Now, the Chapayev, its frontal armor is pretty decent. I mean, it's nothing like a New Orleans or anything like that, but if all possible, especially when you're facing off against enemy cruisers, go bow in, you will survive for a lot longer than if you were going broadside, obviously. Now, everything is taken care of, and the enemy team, there's not a lot left. There is a enemy destroyer and 2 cruisers, and I'm going to try to move in and try to cap A if all possible. Now, the Russian cruisers are a little bit lousy when turning. Now, you can see I'm actually running about half speed right now, and I'm not going to be able to make this turn. So I'm going to have to actually collide with the island and then start backing up to actually get away. Now, the friendly Nuremberg, I'm giving huge props to you. You have Kraken Unleashed. Huge props to you. Because he did a fantastic job in this game. I won't doubt that at all. Now, you may have noticed, I'm pink. Yeah, funny story about that. For anyone that's actually curious, this is the first time I've ever been pink. I'm generally very good as far as firing torpedoes, as far as hitting other ships, stuff like that. So this was my very first time being pink. Now, the reason on how I became pink was as followed. I was in my Udaloy, and I was working with a friendly Tashkent. We were working, I think it was around 2 brothers. We were around the island, and there was one last ship on the enemy team, which was the Bismarck. And the Bismarck, as everyone knows, has pretty good secondaries as well as hydro. And we were kind of in this crevice of an island right next to, I believe it's the A cap. And both of me and him were working together, popping smoke, firing, etc., etc. And I am starting to get away from the island. I'm like, okay, I can fire torpedoes. And keep in mind, the Udaloy's torpedoes are fairly slow. And it takes some time to actually for them to get clear. Now, when I looked at firing my torpedoes, the Tashkent, who was a little bit behind me, wasn't going. And I made a very, very stupid mistake, I will admit that. And I launched my torpedoes semi in front of him, but like I said, he wasn't moving. But at that precise moment, he decides to start moving, and all my torpedoes hit him. Now, fortunately, torpedo damage is reduced when it hits allies, so it didn't kill him, but it left him so low on health that one stray secondary from the Bismarck came in and killed him. And that's how I became pink. So, fortunately, I'm no longer pink. I don't have to worry about that at all, but still not fun. Now, with everything taken care of, all we have left is capturing A, and all that's left on the enemy team is that lone Masuki and the Kutuzov. Now, the Kutuzov is pretty much, I want to say he's pretty much fucked, because he has 2 battleships and 2 cruisers really close to him. It looks like he's trying to get behind this island, and here I'm trying to get around this island to push in, try to help find that Masuki. But the Chapayev does a downright terrible job as far as turning. Downright terrible. So, my thoughts on the Chapayev, it's a great cruiser. It's definitely an improvement over the stores, in my opinion, because you have the fantastic range, 17.3 kilometers, and if you get Demolition Expert, your chance of fire is very, very high. And normally, whenever you play Russian cruisers, as far as what I could tell, and as far as what I could figure out as far as playing it, is that you want to keep kind of that distance. You don't want to be the one pushing forward, like you saw when I started the game. But fortunately, it's the A cap on shards, and not many battleships or cruisers actually go up into A. It's usually destroyers, so that's why I did that. But normally you want to play her kinda in the area of where battleships play. Not the stupid battleships that fire at their extended range and hope they actually hit, but around 10-15 kilometers is probably a good safe bet, probably even a little bit further than that. Now, we've captured A, B, and C. All that's left on the enemy team is a enemy Mitsuki and we are detected. So that must mean that the Mitsuki is within my detection range, which is 10.2 kilometers, and my radar is 11.1, and there he is. There's the enemy Mitsuki, and all guns are to bear. Let's see if we can actually land a hit. Well, not decent. We actually knocked out his engine, and now all the friendly cruisers are going to be opening fire at him. Now, like I said, the sonar does not last very long. It lasts for 20 seconds. I was wrong. It was 20 seconds. And it's nice. I like the extended range, but the lack of, I don't want to say longevity, but not being able to actually have it for very long is kind of sucks. Now, this Mitsuki is going down to the friendly Nuremberg. So, as you can see, the Chapayev is not a bad ship. I really do enjoy her. She is so much fun. Even though she has some major flaws with her, she is still a fun little tier 8 cruiser. Now, survivability, you are looking at 37,000 points of health, and armor, like I said, is extremely thin. So, need to keep yourself angled, and pretty much that's the best thing you can do. More than likely, you'll still get citadeled by anything with larger than 152 millimeter shells. So, always expect that. Always expect to be penetrated. That's why you generally want to keep your distance, as you just saw. Now, artillery is fantastic. The 4 main guns is phenomenal with a range of 17.3. HE damage is 2,200 with a 15% fire chance. Not as good as the Japanese, but still pretty darn good. Torpedoes, never really use it, so don't always go expecting to be able to use your torpedoes. Now, AA defense is actually pretty good once you get up to the next hole, the final hole. It is pretty decent. It's not as great as the New Orleans, but that's generally what you expect for at least the Chapayev. Now, apparently, they're supposed to get a better AA as you go on to the Donskoy and the Moskva. Maneuverability is fantastic, 33.5 knots. Rudder shift times when you first get her is a little bit slow, but definitely improves up to 7.7 seconds. Turning circle radius is abysmal, so you're not a very nimbly little ship. Now, I went for a concealment expert build. So the concealment is fairly low with a 10.2 kilometer detection range, which is phenomenal. And so, like I said, once you get up to the B hole, something dramatically changes. You lose your spotter craft, and instead you get the radar ability, which is fantastic. It has a 11.7 kilometers. So generally what I do is I look to see if there's, like, say, a smoke cloud that's kind of within my detection range, and I pop it. That's generally why I do it. But it's very quick. It's only 20 seconds compared to, say, the Des Moines, which has a longer duration but shorter range. I believe the Des Moines has a 9.9 kilometer range, something like that. And reload time is 114. I went for the premium just so I could have it a little bit faster, because if you don't, it takes 171 seconds, which kind of is long. It's about 3 minutes of wait time, so generally I don't always recommend it. But yeah, that's pretty much the Chapayev, and let's go ahead and say goodbye to her. Goodbye. Goodbye, Chapayev. And we will say hello to the Donskoy next video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.